I'm well. How are you?
Your family and you are the symbol of unity. How you can support General Mike Flynn in his strategic point of view and his vision to save America and to be America great?
Yes, absolutely. He's brilliant. He's a brilliant general. He's a historical legacy part of this country. And it's very important for people to understand that a man like this and his vision is truly God-given. Also, it is a vision truly to save our country and to save the world eventually. I mean, our country needs to be saved in order to save the world and bring peace to the world. So his strategy and what he's doing today is a vision that no other general really in this time we are living in could ever really comprehend and know what to do. And he's a man that knows this vision.
How did you assess the reaction and the participation from more than 50 representatives from all over the world?
Amazing, very, very amazing. That's how much he is so revered and well liked. I mean, and people understand how important his wisdom and knowledge is. And so you see these great people coming together, and this is something that we all need to understand how really comprehensive this man is and how well liked he is, and people understand what he's doing.
How is America First movement can shape and can help achieve the goals of the Trump administration?
Well, this administration wants peace, strength by peace. And it's a good strategy. It's a very good one, because we do know that this country and around the world, all this kind of war has been going on for so long. And this violence and this stuff is got to stop. We are at a highest level of violence in the world history today. We have a lowest birth rate in every nation of children, and so this stuff is very, very important in order for President Trump to achieve this peace, and it is time for peace. And so, we support him in 150% of what he is doing, and we will help his administration any way we can. So it's very important that we do that. He is a loving man. He is a family man. He is a man that loves this country, and we support that.
Yeah. You were a special guest yesterday for the summit, the CPAC summit concerning anti-trafficking.
Yes.
Can you tell us what is your view about helping solving this problem?
Yes. Yes. Well, there's a lot. I mean, we're at a point with this whole, and I call it crimes against children, because it's trafficking is just one kind of crime where there's grooming and all these other sorts of things, and really it's crimes against children. And we're at a highest level of all history time in our world today. Revelation 17, it describes this high level of evil. And it's something that people need to understand, that this level of evil exists. And in this country, we are the biggest buyers and sellers of children, of any kind of thing that we have done to hurt children. So it is very important for the president to leverage this and get all the other nations, when he's negotiating deals, economic deals and economy and things in the world, he needs to use this to get them to stop their networks of trafficking and any kind of crimes that are being perpetrated against children. These networks need to stop, and he needs to use that to leverage that, because if he can put that deal and make these people stop this from coming into our country, that would be a massive, massive thing that he could do, to use that. I mean, use that to leverage this economy, our economies, and we could have peace. I mean, if he could use that to get them to stop these networks, that would be massive on an international level. And the other thing is that we need to educate people. We need to educate and teach people what to look for and how to protect their children. and we need to bring God back into this nation.
Yeah.
We got to bring God back into this nation.
Of course, you support Melania Trump act, the Take It Down act to control the internet.
That was important. I did talk to many people. The people that were at the CPAC, and this is a great idea. This going internationally, because that's what I'm talking about. Internationally, we need to stop all these networks of criminal entities. That needs to happen. And when we're in those countries, we need to make sure that's priority. Is this is a commodity. This is the biggest moneymaker. Buying and selling of humans and children is the biggest commodity. It's bigger than drugs and bigger than guns. So we need to cut that off. And that's what's funding the globalists, the elite, the bad guys. So it's something that's very important to me. And I'm glad to see Mercedes and Matt doing this international stuff. There's a lot of things we can do. But on the other hand, we have to stop the people that have been in this saying they've been saving children for 30 years. And that's something that I am very, very adamant about. And that's about, vetting people that... So this is an economy that needs to be put out of business. This is not an economy that needs to grow. And I'm talking about saving children. This is an economy. It needs to be shut down. And I'm going to shut this down. That's what I want. I want to shut it down. We don't need to be, worrying about where donors are coming from money and, no. We need to stop this. We need to just end this. We need to educate, expose, and we need to eradicate it. That's what we need to do. Stop the funding on all this. We don't need to be funding any more NGOs, and that just don't want to stop it. They just want to keep it going. And it's been going on too long. It's just been going on too long.
It's time to be
Right. And there was a lot of patting on the back. I do this, I do that. We need to not do that. We need to watch our egos with this stuff because egos get in the way. And a lot of conservative groups, their egos get in the way. We have to remember this is humility is what we need to continue to be. We are great. America's great. American exception, it's great. That's
admit where we messed it up. We have to admit if there is something.
Absolutely, big time. We have to admit that is the only way we'll heal. And we also have to very, very seriously understand that MAGA, this MAGA, this MAHA, this community, this big support that President Trump has brought into this country, those are the middle class people. Those are also the biggest community that are victims of sexual abuse and there's a lot of victims in that whole MAGA movement, including myself and my own daughter, and those people are victims and they're survivors of some kind of either trafficking or sexual abuse or domestic violence. There's a lot of victims and people, and then there's overcomers. So we have to be sensitive to that. That's why they're looking for like the Epstein stuff to get brought out, like the Diddy stuff. These people need to be held accountable. It's a bigger picture.
When the Trump administration needs transparency.
And that's what we have to have. We have to have transparency. We have to show this transparency in order to get accountability, because people need to go to jail. When you hurt a child, you got to go to jail. There's no more, prosecutorial deals that need to be made. No more deals. No more deals.
Yeah.
There's no more deals.
Yeah. Thank you for this great message.
Thank you.
And we will focus on this in the media.
Thank you.
Welcome, Ian and Mantha. Welcome to DC. So tell us about the conference. How do you feel about it?
This has been an incredible conference. I'm a native Washingtonian. I've grown up here. In fact, I've known Ivan for 10, 15 years?
It's been a while.
It's been
definitely
a while.
been quite a few years.
It's been quite a few years, and there are conferences, and then there are conferences, and the magnitude of what this conference represents. People have come here from all over the world, literally from every corner of the world to be here.
Yep.
And do you want to talk a little bit about the significance of why they're here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I looked at the list. We have probably at least 20 embassies represent, over 20, 30 maybe.
50.
Is it 50 now?
50
embassies represented here between yesterday's reception and today's conference. Also, we had several members of Congress that showed up yesterday. Former chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, Scott Perry. We had Congressman Burkeen from Oklahoma. Today on the panel, on the media, independent media panel, we had Eli Crane from Arizona. And I think the biggest takeaway, if you will, for me about this particular conference is because I studied the national security strategies, all of them essentially, going back to when in 1947 the National Security Act was written. Since then, 19 NSSs, if you will, have been written or equivalents. And this one, although it's not from the U.S. federal government, it's still coming from a prominent individual such as what you just saw in the background, General Flynn walking by, and Adam Lovinger. And I want to quote one thing out of this national security strategy, if you can hold this while I open it up, which is the most important aspect and how it differs from all the previous ones. Part 1, the title says, "The Elephant in the Room. America's enemies have fully penetrated U.S. institutions and government agencies." And it's quite fitting and timely that yesterday and earlier in the week, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard laid out the case with overwhelming evidence, and there's going to be more to come, I'm sure, laying out how our enemies had infiltrated our government over the course of the last 10 years at a minimum, with specific individuals named that have conducted treasonous conspiracy according to the DNI's own words. And it was presented in a press conference in the White House, mind you, yesterday. That's never happened in our almost now 250-year history. So I got to give credit where credit's due.
Yes.
President Trump, the president, for having the courage and the stamina and the resilience to be able to get to this moment in American history. His chief of staff, who I've been very critical of in the past because I just didn't know, obviously had a role in facilitating that press conference. Because for me personally, my number one priority in life is to make sure that those traitors to our constitutional order
Are held accountable.
are more than held to account. I use other language, but I'll be a little bit more diplomatic today. They must be held to account. And that includes, I mean, the Constitution has the statute, or has a phrase in there for treason. And so when it happens, it must be enforced. And so I need to thank the entire staff, the chief of staff, and essentially all 404 members of the White House that are currently there.
Absolutely.
Martha, I want to ask you something about when they say America first does not mean America alone. Is it America alone now?
No, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because I get asked that often in my travels. People will say, well, you know, is the idea behind America first that America wants to be isolated? Like we want to be America first to the exclusion, to the detriment of the rest of the world, and that is not the case at all. I mean, our country is built on people coming from all over the world. We really are a melting pot of individuals, great Americans, and so that's not what President Trump means when he says America first. And as the world can see now, you know, President Trump has brought countries from all over the world to the White House. Everybody's coming to the White House to meet with President Trump, to make deals with President Trump. But I am so grateful to the president and to this administration for putting the hardworking American people first, because for far too long, the American people were last.
Martha and Ian, you are like involved in American. I mean, you are team of Trump. I mean, like you are MAGA people. What is your message for our audience from the Middle East, especially after President Trump went to Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar? How do you see the foreign policy of President Trump? What you can tell to our audience?
Yeah, it kind of it segues from your original question of, you know, you quoted the national security strategy, America first, but not alone. And so you can see in this room, I mean, this doesn't represent the president's administration, but we represent what I think a lot of the grassroots America believes and feels, in that we need to take care of our own house first. And I would expect that other nations need to take care of their own houses first and solidify and strengthen their societies before starting to have those international engagements to help improve each other. And I think, just to kind of summarize that as an analogy, if your house is on fire and mine isn't, guess what? you need to probably focus on your house,
Yes.
and I want to try to help you out if my house is in order, and vice versa. And I think over the last 6 months now, the house is back in kind of order,
Yes.
almost, and now we can start helping out the rest of the world.
How we can collaborate with partnership like Saudi Arabia, UAE, and like we have a common threat, which is terrorism, anti-Semitism. Can you tell
Well,
us?
it's tremendous. And-
May I?
Yeah,
One
please.
real quick?
You go. You go.
Ladies first.
No, no, no.
أولا
No, 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 no.
أولا نحن نحتاج نتكلم بالنفس لهجة
Okay.
إنجليزي عربي لو سمحت. That's my response.
Well, you have to translate.
Oh, so I said first we have to speak a common language,
Yeah.
whether it's in English or Arabic, and then once you can communicate effectively with each other, then we can start negotiating what each of our interests are.
Yeah.
But if we don't talk to each other and we're censored from talking to each other, we can't. You can't compromise when you can't communicate with each other.
Marta, about anti-Semitism.
Oh yeah, I can speak to anti-Semitism, but I just want to add on to that. I mean, as you can see, President Trump, the relationships he's building in the Middle East and around the world. I mean, everybody from Saudi Arabia to Qatar and everywhere in between have all pledged to do significant investments into the United States, and I think that really speaks to that bridge that the president is making around the world, and in particular in the Middle East. So I hope that really speaks to that too. With regard to anti-Semitism as well, President Trump has made it clear that anti-Semitic sentiment on universities funded by our hardworking American tax dollars will no longer be tolerated. So he's taking that position with Harvard and at other institutions too, because the American tax dollars should not be funding whether it's anti-Semitism or hate of any kind, discrimination of any kind. On our college campuses.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Marta.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
The conference.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Shukran. It was. Adam Lobiger, you are the VP of Strategic Affairs Board Institute. So we were discussing like a strategy, national security strategy for 2025. How is your collaboration with General Flynn can affect the security level of the United States, or the victory, or the strategic alliance? What is your recommendation, and what is the most important thing you wrote about in this study?
Yeah, the most important thing about this Gold Institute for International Strategy 2025 National Security Strategy is the importance of the United States upholding U.S. primacy or U.S. preeminence, or in the military realm, military overmatch. So much of the world looks to the United States, depends on the United States to ensure that there is no security dilemma, to ensure that the vacuum of power that could develop if the U.S. pulled back irresponsibly from the world, pulled back without a strategy, without doing the analysis, and that vacuum would be filled by America's adversaries. And so the importance is really, goes to the heart of President Trump's peace through strength policy, and this is reinforced in his strategic documents and policy priorities as well.
You have recommendations. One of them is for the people, for the citizen, defend free speech, strengthen the local institution, hold institution accountable. How you can translate this into reality?
Yeah, no, this is a very important question, and it really goes to, what is it that makes the United States powerful? One can have the greatest intentions in the world, but without power to uphold a responsible, ethical, fair, framework, best intentions do not, translate to great outcomes. And so this goes to the heart of America's constitutional order. What makes America strong is that we have this robust system where rule of law is upheld, and that people who invest in commerce and take risks, that they are protected through the rule of law. And this is something that is not only an American principle, but it's also an international principle. And this is really where our strength comes from.
What about defending the republic from subversion? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so America's adversaries long ago realized that it's very dangerous to take America on head-on. Definitely Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan learned that lesson the hard way in the Second World War. So since that time, there's been a concerted effort It began under the Soviet Union. When the Soviet Union collapsed, it migrated to China. Other American adversaries have recognized that America is a very open society, and that coming into America through sort of an indirect approach, subverting, corrupting U.S. government officials, corrupting institutions, turning our universities into sort of mouthpieces for radical Islamists, pro-Hamas organizations, that this is really the way to subvert America from within, and that is their theory of victory. And the importance is that for all Americans to recognize how our institutions, how various American officials, government officials, members of Congress, university presidents, administrations, think tanks, the media, how they become the mouthpieces for America's adversaries. And this is where the sharp tip of their spear is. And so subversion is really their number one strategy.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Welcome.
As a senior fellow of the Gold Institute, can you introduce yourself and tell us what is the main purpose or the main message that this conference held by the Gold Institute with Ellie Gold and under the umbrella of General Mike Flynn, who is the chairman?
Thank you. Nahro Zagros. I'm Senior Fellow at Gold Institute for International Strategy here in Washington, D.C. And I think this conference that we have today bringing all these diplomats together from different countries around the world to talk about foreign policy, the next phase of leadership in respected countries, it's important. I think we should keep keep this conference going and make an ongoing project so that the dialogue between different countries, different people will flourish in the future. And also it's important right now to talk about foreign policy in different countries.
Mm-hmm. How this conference approach Iraq situation, especially Kurdistan?
The Kurdistan region of Iraq at the moment is one of these federal entities within Iraq, and the relationship between the Kurdistan region and the central government in Baghdad is not good. And dialogues with Iraqis is important, but also our international partners, Iraqi international partners, Kurdish international partners, should hear about the ongoing problems that the region is facing, the country is facing, in terms of militias, in terms of finance, in terms of oil revenue, but also regional security. After the war between Israel and Iran, the whole region looks different. And I think Iraq being the next door neighbor to Iran and the problems that the country is facing, it's always good, and we encourage Iraqis and Kurds to be in stages like here in Washington to talk about the problems that their country is facing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mahmoud Hassanin. I'm a former defense attaché to Washington, and I've been working with the Gold Institute since then. So thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. So my question is how this conference can approach the Middle East common strategy policy, or the common threat, how the U.S. and during this conference can collaborate with the Middle East in fighting the same or the common enemy?
Yeah, it's just simple, and it's really simple that only through the strategic partnership, all right, based on mutual interests for both United States and the alliances.
Mm-hmm. This is the topic that you're going to speak about today.
I think I'm going to speak a little bit about the Middle East issues and current situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wish you the best. We're gonna.
Thank you so much.
Apostle Leon Benjamin, can you tell
Yes.
us about your? You are here for the conference. What
Yes.
is your role? What did you talk about? What is your assessment of building a strategy to help America being always great?
Well, that's a great question. One of the main things is I have been working in different circles dealing with faith and how our country needs to be able to centralize around common values that make this nation what it is. And it's our faith I believe what your belief systems can either build up a nation or they can destroy destroy a nation. So as a pastor and a bishop and an apostle, my aim is to strengthen the churches, strengthen the body of Christ, and even strengthen those who may not be familiar with what core values and what faith really does.
What is your like point of view about tolerance and the dialogue between all these religions, like Muslim, Jews, and Christians?
Well, what our Lord taught us was to go into all nations. The word is ethnos, ethnicities. So people, to engage, that is the commonality of a kingdom mentality, that no one is left out. We need to have conversations. We need to engage. How can I love my brother if I don't know my brother?
Yeah.
How can I call someone my sister or my brother if I don't know them? And I think what happens is religion can sometimes separate us because of beliefs. But what we have to do is to engage one another and ask questions and have conversations.
Exactly.
Yes.
Was this conference held by the Gold Institute and add value to our living, our life? And what did you learn from General Mike Flynn?
Well, I believe we're in a critical situation where we here as Americans must consider the directory or the path that we must take if we're going to be a great nation, and if we're also going to be a help to other nations as far as an example to follow. Sometimes they say you have to clean around your own, front door, before you try to sweep around mine. So we gotta clean up some things here in America.
But always America have great values.
Yes.
We don't find in the third world or any
Yes.
Thank you so much, and we hope to go to your church.
Yes.
Visit you and see you.
Well, I'm in Virginia, New Life Harvest Church in Virginia, but I also have another church. As a bishop, I have another church in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, the Real Remnant Church.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll visit you for sure.
Okay.
Introduce yourself and tell us about your participation in the Gold Institute Summit in Washington, D.C.
Hi, my name is Myung Chung. I'm the president of the Federation of Korean Association, and also I am the inventor of the Hanaiso. I have been involved with the Gold Institute through General Flynn, Michael Flynn, Future of America, Inc. And I'm very delighted that to be here. Maria Mulov, who is part of the Gold Institute, have invited me, and also General Flynn.
Okay, can you tell us how this message can be spread and you can practice it in South Korea?
So this is a great event, and this is a very important, significant era of the Gold Institute being established and first meeting here, because the Gold Institute is advocating for international, global, national security, and it really involves with everyone. And General Flynn has such a great passion, and also the President Gold. They have great passion, and they are seeking for solution, how they can bring these problems that we are having globally to resolve the areas. And now is the golden era time, and it is a transitional time from the President Trump, what he's doing. So we are supporting his OBBB and whatever he has passed the bill. So this is all tied into with that. So they have a great strategy, plan, and it's going to happen. So they are going to fight, but it's for the humanity, for the peace, love, and hope that will bring.
Thank you.